Welcome to the MYS Virtual Hangout. Here's your host, MYS Music Director, Raul Gomez.
Hola, 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 hola. Bienvenidos a todos. What a beautiful, beautiful afternoon. Oh, there we are. I don't know if you could hear me. I was just saying, it's such a beautiful afternoon here in Portland, Oregon, and I am very excited to have Juan Felipe Molano as our guest today. He is the music director of the Seattle Youth Symphony. This is his first season there. We've connected over the last few months. He's amazing. And he's doing some great things up in Seattle, and I'm excited for him to share about his career and his plans for, the Seattle Youth Symphony Orchestra, one of the great youth orchestras in this country. As always, I want to thank the folks who created my video intro, Jose Julian and Felipe Araya, video work, Sam Maury for voiceover, and Griffin Barbieri for music. And it's been a pretty eventful few days here at the Metropolitan Youth Symphony. As many of you know, we had our gala online last Friday. It was a live event. We had a silent auction, and we had a live auction, and it went really great. It's always so heartwarming to see all the support that we have in this community. And one of the most important, or one of the most exciting elements of the gala we had on Friday was that we did the world premiere of MYS Symphony Orchestra's first ever virtual performance. This was a video that we put together of many members of MYS Symphony Orchestra playing Brahms' Hungarian Dance Number 5. And because I know that we have people watching who are not super familiar with MYS, I want to share with you guys this video. And a bunch of you have seen it, but it doesn't matter how many times I watch it. It excites me. I still think it's very, very cool. So I'm gonna play that right now for everybody. Enjoy.
1, 2, 1.
That was a lot of fun to make. And uh, just today here in Oregon, we found out from the governor that schools are going to be closed for the rest of the year. So, as a result of that, at MYS, we know that we will not be able to gather in person for the rest of the year. But we have some good news. An email went out to everybody today, and all students of all MYS ensembles will have the opportunity to create a video like the one you just watched. So we're going to try and do this with all of our groups at MYS. And we're going to be talking with our conductors and selecting repertoire and making sure that we have all the ingredients, all the pieces of the puzzle so that we can do this with everybody. And for Symphony Orchestra, we are still hoping to be able to hold a concert in June. And more information about that will be made public in the coming days. But we're still going to be making music together, whether it's on a digital platform such as this one. And we also have our Saturday sessions, which for many of you also some of them will be pretty hands-on with your instruments. And for other groups, we will continue exploring topics relevant to your artistic growth and musicianship. But the point is that, as we all get through this together, we will continue to make community and to be together and to create joy for people through our music. So yeah, and to create videos like this, I was telling this to Symphony Orchestra on Saturday, it's such a wonderful exercise in accuracy and intonation, and to be able to really play to a click, but do it in a way that's really musical and with good sound and good intonation. It's a worthwhile challenge for all of us. And this Brahms video was our first stab at this, right? And I think upcoming videos are going to get even better. And we're already working on a second one for Symphony Orchestra, and the music will be revealed to everybody else soon. But members of Symphony Orchestra already have the parts, they have the click tracks, and they're starting to practice so they can record. And we'll release this video 2 weeks from today. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay, so back to our guest, Juan Felipe Molano. He is an amazing conductor. He's originally from Colombia. He's currently the music director of the Seattle Youth Symphony Orchestra. And he's conducted all over the world. He has worked with some of the best artists in the world. And I believe he's ready for us to call him. So let's get Skype going, and we'll get Juan Felipe on the line. Here we go. And there you are, Juan Felipe.
Hey,
¿Cómo
Raúl,
estás?
how are you? Bien, ¿y tú?
Bien, gracias. It's so good to see you.
Yeah.
And we have you
Same
up
here.
on the screen. You look good. You sound good. Is it as beautiful as a day in Seattle as it is here in Portland? It's a gorgeous day out.
It is gorgeous. We have a fantastic weather today. It's sunny, it's warm. Yeah, it's great.
Have you spent any time outside?
Yes, a little bit. I've been today having a lot of meetings through Zoom, and I had a little space at some point, and I was able to connect with my family and play a little bit soccer at the patio, and yeah, hang out with my pets. Yes, it was great.
With Frida, your cat, yes?
With Frida and with our dog, Luna.
Oh, you have a dog, Luna.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful name. Do they get along?
They do. They are really good friends.
Very good. Okay. And so I was just telling everybody, of course, that you are the music director of the Seattle Youth Symphony. And this is your first year, right?
It is, yes.
Yeah. What a first year.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's been a roller coaster. I mean, this last unprecedented month, it's been quite challenging. From one side, I have to say that, yeah, we were not prepared for something like this. Nobody was. But we all are embracing this as an opportunity for other things, for connecting with friends that we usually just don't see, to have a dedicated time with your family, to find the value of taking care of yourself. I mean, we are really taking care of how much we eat every day, since we are not like working out so much. Then you're okay. So how much are we really eating, and what kind of food are we eating? But also the nature is speaking to us. I think right now we're facing all these beautiful images and videos from all over the world. When you see the rivers are cleaner, and the air, the pollution has decreased exponentially. So somehow we are learning some lessons that otherwise we wouldn't. And yeah, it's an unprecedented time, but I think we have to stay positive.
Yeah, and I really hope that we, as humankind, we really learn from this, specifically about what you're talking about. And yeah, you see all these photos of India and China, and you can see the mountains, and the air is clean. I hope that we can keep it that way. When
Yes.
things go back to normal, and they will go back to normal, but I hope that we keep that with us as we move forward. And so, what are you guys doing with the Seattle Youth Symphony Orchestra in terms of rehearsals? You're moving things online, right? And
Yes, we have different programs. Some of them have been canceled. For instance, Marrowstone Festival, the one I was just sharing with you all guys a couple of weeks ago when I visited you, and I was really impressed. Again, congrats on the great job you and the whole team is doing to keep an excellent orchestral training program that actually go beyond that. I was really happy to see also your jazz component and see the different programs you have. So right here we have, in addition to the orchestras, we have also programs in the schools. We have the festival in Bellingham, the Marrowstone Festival. We also have a SISO summer camp here in Seattle. We have a Conservatory of Music as well. So each program has been adjusting differently to the situation. Yes, we are having some remote learning happening here and there. We are also trying to keep the students practicing as much as they can, and finding in music the joy and the space for them to connect with themselves and to connect with somebody that is actually beyond something you can grab with your hands. And that's something that you and I know how much it's been our companion our whole life, and it also makes our living, but at the same time, and mostly it's just our companion.
yeah. Well, thank you for your kind words about MYS, and it was great to have you visit. And I hope I get to go visit you guys as well. And yeah, exactly what you're saying. To keep using music, to keep using music to create joy, and that's also what we're all about here at MYS. And it's been busy. It's been busy, like you. We're trying to figure out how to adapt and keep everybody happy and making music. But now let's go way back. So of course you're in Seattle now. You were in Los Angeles before, and you've been all over the world conducting. You studied in Vienna, but let's go back to Colombia, okay? And let's go back to
Okay.
your years as a child. Is it Medellin?
Yes.
Yeah, and high school years. How was music a part of your life when you were in high school and before that too?
Yeah, it was a busy, interesting, passionate childhood. It was not just the day was not just passing. We were dealing with the 80s in Colombia. That's first the history. It was a really challenging time for us in Colombia, and I know we get to see just some um, movies and shows about how it was back then in Colombia during the 80s and the drug cartels and all these challenging times we had. But living there and surviving it was quite a thing. So I have to say that music was always really important, and it was not only something that kept me like hands on every day. I had something to do, and but also helped me understand beyond words what I was dealing with. And literature was really important to me as well. I was a really good reader. I read as many books as I had close to me. So like literature and music, they both helped me understand the things I had to face. And yes, I was a kid that I loved to play sports as well and hang with people. What can I say? I think music also took me to different places. That's something important that we keep reminding our students. As musicians, we were able to travel so many different places just because we were playing an instrument. And I was able to be in so many different places, playing with people, getting to know other cultures just by playing an instrument. So it was great. I had the great opportunity to have not only my dad, but also a good uncle who raised me also many years, who came from the Czech Republic. He was a musician himself. He was a composer. So I was living, always with music being a really important part of their lives. And one day I had to say, hey, you know what? I will love to just take music seriously. And on a really weird note, Edo Polanek, my Czech uncle, he said to me my whole childhood and teenage time, I teach you music as much as you want, but please don't become a musician. And, and that was like, really? And we spent hours every day after school listening to vinyls, to the vinyls, symphonies, and also we were usually talking about the work, and he was just explaining to me bar by bar what we were listening to and the history and everything. And at some point, I think he found out, okay, I'm revealing so much information about this hidden treasure that is music, that at some point he will find out this is fantastic. And the day I said, okay, you know what, I decided to become a musician, he was happy. He was really happy. But he was trying to prevent me about the difficult, the challenges of being a musician. When I embraced it and I said, I'm going to be a musician, he said, okay, you're ready. And he helped me. That's some anecdote that I wanted to share with you.
So I have several questions for you. Number one, which was your sport, your favorite sport to play when you were growing up? Was it?
Okay, I did volleyball, I ran, soccer, bike.
You did lots of things. Okay.
Yeah, but don't take me wrong. I loved sports, but I was not the best at it. My brother, though, oh my gosh, my brother was the best sportman ever. And at this point, he became a really quite famous sport anchor in TV.
Oh, okay.
So he's the anchor for Caracol Televisión, like a big TV.
Okay,
So
cool.
But he was always complaining, like, you are a musician, you can't play a sport, you are just too slow. And every time I wanted to play with him, he was better than I was. And anyway, that wasn't my struggle. And I'm still trying to beat him. But
and I see bicycles behind you. You have the painting and a bicycle on your piano.
Oh yeah.
So that's something you do?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Colombia has some of the best bicyclists in history in the world.
Oh, yes. Right now we're having so many Latin American artists, sportmen, and women everywhere. I'm so excited to see how much we all start to not follow stereotypes. And we just and this is a community both in Portland and here in Seattle where we get to see so many different nationalities in one place, that I'm happy that my daughters are able to grow up with that. So when they become an adult, they know how much diversity and richness we have in having different cultures coexisting. So that's something we are leaving to our kids.
Nice. Cool. Okay, so I have two more questions.
Go ahead.
What's your primary instrument?
It was clarinet for all my college time, but at some point I decided to jump and change to the piano.
Okay.
And I switched to my main instrument from clarinet to piano. So it's always like back and forth, but it was more clarinet than piano. Yeah.
And how about your uncle, your Czech uncle? What was his?
Bass. He was a bass player.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
a
Did he
guitar
play
player as well.
like classical, like
Yes,
orchestral?
he was played at the Symphony, and he was one of these artists that you only see in the Renaissance because he was a painter, he was a luthier, and he built one of the best Baroque instruments that we got in Colombia and beyond. Like there are some of his instruments are in a couple of museums in Europe, like
Wow.
lutes and viola da gamba and many other instruments. But he was also an actor, and he was like, yeah, those type of people that only get once.
Did you spend time at his shop? Like, did you watch him like build instruments? That must have been so cool.
Oh my gosh, that was so great. And I was at some point thinking I should just follow that path. No, I didn't. I was just busy playing and conducting. And I started conducting quite early, Raul. So and that was, may I just tell you how I started conducting?
Yeah, please. That was going to be actually my exact next question for you.
Okay, so I was playing the symphony, the youth symphony, clarinet. And then my dear friend Juan Rodrigo, concertmaster for that symphony orchestra, he was asked to conduct the orchestra because that conductor at that point that we hired at that point for that orchestra, he was the head of the music department where we were just holding rehearsals. So every time the conductor got a phone call or he was called for something, he said, Juan, come here and conduct. And my dear friend, he said, like, no, I don't like to do this. And then I was just on his rescue from my clarinet play saying, okay, Juan Rodrigo, it's fine, I help you. So like, just take it from whatever. And I was just conducting, trying to really, truly save my friend because he was so shy. He's a lovely person. He's right now a violinist at the Medellin Philharmonic. But he didn't feel comfortable doing it. So, and I was always about helping people to any extent. So I just helped him many times until the conductor saw like, okay, I think Juan Felipe, you're the one coming, not Juan Rodriguez. He said, yes, I'm fine. So I started doing that, and I became the assistant conductor at some point when I was like 16, 17. And then conductor resigned. We got another conductor, and that conductor, he was a fantastic musician, but his conducting was not his forte.
Okay.
And he said, you know what? Fantastic cellist. I mean, and then he said, do you mind just doing rehearsal, like conducting rehearsals? And I will be at the right side helping you out. And that was what we did. So we were waiting until I turned 18 to have a contract as conductor. Wow. And then when I turned 18, they hired me as the conductor. And I was always conducting everything until one day, let's say the headquarters of the El Sistema in Colombia back then found out, and then somebody just came to the concert, and then the cellist just went and conduct something almost for the first time because usually the one conducting was me. Anyway, and yeah, that was how it started, and here I am, loving this job. Yeah. It's like a service job. You serve. And you help these treasures, this music, fantastic music, going from a piece of paper out to the reality, helping people to put them together, and then delivering to the audience. And you're just like a medium in between.
Well, a conductor, right? Like an electrical conductor sort of thing. Like you're facilitating that process, exactly what you're talking about. And it's like magic every time. It's when you think about it, right? Like from what's on a piece of paper, like exactly that process you're describing. It's so magical, and we often just take it for granted. We forget that it's such a cool thing that we do, like play music. Now,
it is
I want to ask you more about that. But before we get any further here, let's play our game, the Two Truths and One Lie game, with everybody. All right. So if you're watching, you probably know how this works. Juan Felipe sent 3 statements. 2 of them are true, and 1 of them is a lie. So if you're watching, your job is to vote on the comments for which of these statements you believe is a lie. So do you have them in front of you, Juan Felipe?
I will find them right now. Yeah.
Okay, so we'll have you read these out loud one at a time, and I'll put them up on the screen.
Okay. So should I start right now?
Yes. So let's hear statement A.
Before being a musician, I was a TV host.
Okay, that's up on the screen. Very good. B.
I bike at least 5 miles every day around Lake Washington.
Okay. And statement C.
After being mistaken for a celebrity at the street, I prefer to accept photos and pretend than explaining I wasn't.
Okay, so all three are on the screen right now. And let's see. I actually don't. You didn't tell me which one is the lie,
No,
so I'm also playing. No, you say your brother is in TV, and you have bicycles back there, and the third one is so specific that I also want to think it's true. But I haven't made up my mind. So everybody, if you're watching, go ahead and vote in the comments, and we'll continue talking for a little bit longer before we share a couple of actually an audio, an excerpt of the Seattle Youth Symphony Orchestra playing something, and we're going to talk about that too, and later also a video. So let's go back to conducting here, and specifically conducting youth orchestras. So you've conducted all over the world, and you've worked with many, many professional orchestras. What's your favorite thing about working with young musicians that maybe you don't get in the same way with a professional orchestra?
When I'm conducting a youth orchestra, the rule is the unexpected. And that's something that I truly love, because then you have to not reinvent yourself, but you have to be so creative. First, you have to identify all those unexpected situations. Because again, as conductors, we prepare rehearsals and we have a rehearsal plan, and we think, okay, most likely they're going to make a mistake here. Something is going to happen because in the past it happened. And surprise, most of the time they don't have that place, but they find another place where they struggle. So how you just identify all those different things, and how you just make people take their best out of themselves in a good, I don't want to use the polite way, but in a good, great, passionate way. Because I might say polite, but it's not polite. They have to sometimes go into music so expressively. Yes, that's something I like, the unexpected situations. And the good thing when I go to professional orchestras is that I'm so fresh, and I'm just so excited because we are used to this fantastic vibe that youth orchestras have, that usually professional musicians look at me like, why is this guy so happy? I mean, we're at work, we are on duty. And it's not just something superficial. It's like, hey, let's make this happen. And I respect composers as much as I respect any other human beings. But being the deliver man of their music puts me in a really hard position, because I'm just that delivery man, just going and saying, okay, this is what you wrote, this is what we think is going to be, and then the audience will take it. So with youth orchestras, youth orchestras have the power, have the skill to go directly into the source, directly into what the feelings that move that composer to write those notes are. So not in the technicalities, because we don't know so much about the technicalities in general. And if you're playing one symphony by Beethoven with a youth orchestra, most likely it's the first time, or they played two symphonies at that time. If they played three symphonies, maybe it's like a good youth orchestra with a long time. Usually you have this turnover. People just graduate and go.
Right.
With professional orchestras, you play one Beethoven symphony during this Beethoven year, as we have many Beethoven symphonies in this year. They played those symphonies so many times. So there is a certain extent, when you're reading the book so many times, you might go into a deeper of ideas. But you are not able to look into with that music with fresh eyes, and especially with a fresh soul, because you're just, you know what Beethoven is, and you've played all symphonies, so you try to go farther. But when if you're a young person playing a Beethoven symphony for the first or second time, you start to have an approach that it's something you can't replicate with professionals. Even with new composers, with new music, when you have a premiere, it's different. They have different historical context and things, so to say, I know a little bit how this music should look like. So yeah, that's what I like about youth orchestras.
Yeah, and same here. And there is exactly that element you're describing of being. You use the word like fresh, right? It's something that's it's still kind of new and exciting, and very often, yes, you see older musicians, who lose that, right? And I think working with youth orchestras is always a great reminder of how exciting this is. I think it's you can take a book. You were talking about literature, say Cien Años de Soledad or something, Gabriel Garcia Marquez, for example, that you could read that book when you're in high school, and then you can read it again when you're a little older, and then you read it again when you're even older. And depending on what point in your life you're in, you find different meanings, right? And you can go deeper into the work, much like going back to a Beethoven symphony. However, there's a difference that you can go back to any book or any text, and you can just, your eyes and your brain, you can just read the words out loud without even thinking about what you're reading, right? Very, very superficial. And that's often what, especially, musicians who have been, working for many years, sometimes we fall into that trap, right? We're just kind of, it's like reading something automatically, and we lose that connection with the text that I think often in youth orchestra, for the reasons that you're describing, you have, it's a closer relationship sometimes. It's more direct, and you don't have that element of being jaded that might push you away from the music. And so now, tell us a little bit about the Seattle Youth Symphony Orchestra specifically. How old is the organization, and what was the process like to get to your position right now, and what are your plans for the next few years?
Yes, so Seattle Youth Symphony Orchestras have been here for over 77 years. They have the academic year orchestra program that has at this point 5 orchestras in 5 different levels, ages 7 through 18.
And these are 5 full orchestras with.
No, first orchestra prelude is only strings.
Okay.
Ages probably 7 through 10, and then we go like that. It's of course level based. It's not age based, but level based. And you might have in the top orchestra, one of the first flutes is 12, and so that happens all the time. I think that's the academic orchestra program. We have also a conservatory of music. That conservatory of music was managed and created by a famous music teacher in the area, and she just granted us that conservatory of music a couple of years ago to SISO, to Seattle Youth Symphony Orchestras. And we have theory classes, we have chamber music, we have different components. We also have a SISO summer program that is a program that we have in summer. We have also Marrowstone Festival, has exactly the same years as the program started. And we also have programs in the schools where we support sometimes the teachers. If, let's say, we have a clarinet teacher teaching strings as well. And sometimes in a school environment, you might have that situation. So we support them, and we just send some specialists to help them. And they still are autonomous in everything they do, but we just support them. We also have a really interesting program called the Endangered Instrument Program, the EIP. So guess what are the endangered instruments, Raul?
Well, probably the ones that we're always looking more students for. Perhaps double reeds, maybe bassoon.
That's correct.
Maybe viola.
Yeah.
Maybe bass.
Yes.
Maybe perhaps low brass, no
Horn.
horns. Okay,
Yes. And what happens with this group, this program that's been here for many years, is that we have an overwhelming amount of bassoons in all orchestras and horns. And so each orchestra might have 7 or 8 horns, 6 bassoons. And again, we can't accept everyone. So we had, last year, we had over 700 candidates for that program. And we accepted 500 something. So we need to keep all those orchestras balanced. So it's not just like a huge amount of bassoons compared with the flutes. So we still have like woodwinds by 5 or woodwinds by 4, depending on the orchestra. But it's really competitive in those endangered instruments that are not endangered in this region.
nice. And what are you guys? So for the next 2 3 years, what's your vision for the organization?
I think it's really important to keep the legacy of the program. So I think my predecessors have done such a great job making sure that the program is not a program that reinvents every year, but that it has its roots everywhere. Everywhere I go here in Seattle, I find somebody who played at the orchestra, or their kids played at the orchestra, or they were board members. Or it's really, really interesting to see how much my predecessors and the board members in the past have done such a great job. So in the future, I do see lots of collaborations, and that was one of the reasons I visited you in Portland, because I'm really interested to see how much we can connect all those great talents we have and just put them together and connect them. And not only side by sides is great. I love side by sides, but also in terms of the whole community. They will meet when they go to different festivals or applying to college. And the more we just connect them, the better. It's like a greater community. I see also connecting to other disciplines, not only music, but I love opera. I love also bringing sometimes dancers, and we are also having collaborations with the North Pacific Ballet here in Seattle. So all those things. And I think in the future, I see that students will keep finding in SISO a place to succeed and have an excellent program, but also to have fun. That's really important. I think excellence and fun, they don't need to fight with each other. So our um, high schooler friends and all our young friends who are actually listening to us, as parents ourselves, right now we understand how much we have to keep balance between pushing you a lot and at the same time just like hugging you and saying, let's move forward. So I think we are on the same page, Raul, and I'm so excited to see how much we can communicate and collaborate.
Yeah, I cannot wait. I'm very excited to explore that. And let's start heading towards the sorry, the audio that we're going
The
to
audio.
play. So before you came on the show, we have a standby screen, and I play music, just background music, while we wait for the show to start. And people who were watching from before we started are probably wondering what it was that I was playing. So I was playing a collection of danzones from Mexico. Just danzones. It's a playlist on YouTube Music of all kinds, of bands, like danzon bands from Mexico. And the reason why I was playing that, everybody, is that Juan Felipe is going to share with us an excerpt of a performance by a piece by Arturo Marquez, that at MYS we know him because MYS Symphony Orchestra has played Danson number 2, and last year, the year before, Danson number 8. Okay, so will you share, Juan Felipe, about what we're going to hear now?
So right now we're gonna hear the danzón number 9. The danzón number 9. I was, as Raul mentioned, I was working with the LA Field before I got here, and we commissioned him the danzón number 9 2 years ago. When I was working with the LA Field, we played it with the LA Field, and we played it with Yola Youth Orchestra Los Angeles. I think afterwards was played with National Youth Symphony from Mexico and Houston Symphony, if I'm right. So this is the 4th time we can hear this piece live. It's a fantastic danzón, and I wanted just to share a little bit of this music, an excerpt from this music, because I'm so sure you're gonna love it.
Yeah, Yeah. So it's a very new piece, a couple of years
Yes,
old.
it was the Northwest premiere. That was the Northwest premiere of This Damn Song, and good friend of Marcelo Marquez. And I was in the process of, I mean, when we commissioned that piece at the LA Field, and then just repeated the piece a couple of times, and it's been a great pleasure to just work along with him. Like this, how do you want this to be played? And this collaboration with composers is just great. I wish we can have Mozart and Bach alive to have those conversations. But since we have Arturo Marquez, so Arturo is fantastic human being and a fantastic composer, as we know.
Cool. Okay. And there's no recording, there's no professional recording of this yet. This is a
There's no
live
recording.
performance by the Seattle Youth Symphony Orchestra. And we're going to listen to the last 3 minutes or so of the piece. Okay. So, Juan Felipe, if you're able to mute your mic, that'd be great. Just in case. All right. So here we go, everybody. Enjoy. Very nice. Are you there? Okay.
Yes, I am.
You guys sound great.
Thank
And
you.
what
Yeah,
a
it's
what
great.
a what an amazing piece.
It is, huh?
And it's so cool you guys got to play it and you got to work with him. When was this performance?
March 1st.
March. Very cool.
Yeah.
Does it have a subtitle, this dansong?
No, it
Just
doesn't. It doesn't.
number nine.
It doesn't.
Okay.
But how do you like it? How was? It's great, huh?
Yeah, it's such a
Lots
great
of
piece.
energy. You get the dancehall rhythm and feeling, and you get still the punchy thing you get with the dancer number two.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit more refined, and we only played the last the last part of it.
Right.
It has like a rondeau type of structure. We have like a first like an A part, then a B part, and then A B A C A D. So I think we started at C, so it was like A C A D A, something like that. And yeah, it's great. I love that music.
Very cool. And okay, so there's a video we're going to play also, and I'm going to ask you about it in just a moment. But before we do that, I think it's time to reveal your truths and your lie. Okay? So I know a few people have started watching since we asked people to vote. So if you have not voted, and if you're watching this, now is the time. You have 3 statements on the screen. One of them is a lie. So you're going to vote for the lie. A is Juan Felipe was a TV host before being a musician. Statement B, Juan Felipe bikes at least 5 miles every other day around Lake Washington. Statement C, after being mistaken for a celebrity at the street, I prefer to accept photos and pretend than explaining I wasn't. Okay, so we'll give you a few more seconds to vote. And Juan Felipe, let's reveal one of your truths.
One of my truths. Okay. After being mistaken for a celebrity at the street, I prefer to accept photos and prefer to claim I wasn't. I guess you know what celebrity I'm talking about.
I mean, is this a conductor?
Oh yeah,
Was it Gustavo?
of course. So it happened so many times in my 6 years living in LA, working at the LA field. So many times that I recall once when I was at the street after the concert, and my family was waiting for me somewhere else, and then this family, the whole family came to me, like, I want to have a photo, Gustavo. Like, wait a second. I mean, it would take me so long to explain that I just, okay, take the photo, and I just leave. And I recall that was a really funny situation. And when we were just like driving back home, and I was explaining to my whole family, they couldn't believe I didn't say a word. But
That
yeah,
is
my
so
first-
funny. But you know, I mean, you had longer hair, and that I'm sure confused some people, right? Like I'm looking at I just like Googled you, and I'm looking at a bunch of photos, and some of them you have longer hair, and you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, there are some. I mean, there was a time, let's say, like 10 years ago or longer. I was the head of Batuta in Colombia, the El Sistema, and he came a couple of times to conduct, and we 10 years ago at least, or 12 years ago, and we were so much alike. Yeah, it was quite funny. Even to reveal another anecdote around the same topic, at one concert, when I finished, I was the Walt Disney Concert Hall in LA, which is the big hall in Los Angeles. I finished one of the pieces, and before I started conducting, we got a couple of young families visiting, and one kid yelled, "Hola, Gustavo," before I started conducting. So I couldn't start. Everyone laughed. It was really funny. And then I just turned around and said, like, yeah, it's not the first time I hear that.
That's very funny. And yes, it's Gustavo Dudamel we're talking about. Somebody asked in the comments. Okay. So C is a true statement. So we're going to remove it from the screen. And it looks like the audience has a pretty good. I mean, what's the other truth?
Yeah. Tell me.
Oh, you want me to tell you?
Yes, of course.
I think the other truth is A. You were a TV host before being a musician.
So the biking is not a truth.
Well, I mean, I just don't know how many miles, you know.
What do the other participants say?
A few are saying A. We have a B. We have a. Most people are saying that the lie
A?
is A, but I
The
think the
lie
lie. I
is
think the lie is B.
Oh, that the lie is A. Okay, that's what majority say. Like the A is the lie.
Yeah, but I think the lie is B.
You're right.
So A is true.
A is true, and
Yes.
B is a lie.
Okay. So okay. That means if you answer B, that is the lie, and you're correct. But you
Yes,
know,
I love biking. I have my bike, and I don't bike every other day. I don't bike every other week. I just bike every other month, if maybe.
well, it's a good aspirational goal, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, I guess. Well, you said your brother he works for Caracol, but also I think you have the charisma and the personality of a TV host. So what did you host? What was
So
this?
it was a TV show that we had. I was an actor before being a musician. When I was a little kid, I came into this company, theater company, and I just did a lot of plays with them. And at some point, the regional channel in Medellin called Teleantioquia was started. And we got a TV show Mondays, 4:30 p.m., if I'm right. I was 9 years old, and I was the host, and I was like one of them. And I came with my bike and just brought the mail. Okay, mail of the day. And usually have letters written by the viewers. And yeah, and I also started my theater company when I was 10. And at school, at school we just went to different festivals, and I was the director. Can you believe that? And of course, all actors, all my friends were older than me. But anyway, that's the truth.
Cool. Okay. So if you answer B, you were correct, and actually most people answered A. So you fooled most people. We have Isabel Cristina Acosta Velez said B. Everybody else said A. Okay. Good. So, okay, as we get ready to wrap up, will you introduce this next video we're about to watch?
Oh, sure, sure. Before that, I wanted to say something that I forgot when I was talking about Marquez and danzones that you mentioned, that you also play some of the danzones beforehand. I'm really close to Mexico. I lived in Mexico for 6 years at some point in my life when I was music director there. I still have an orchestra in Morelia in a festival orchestra that I conduct. The connection with Mexico is really close. So, and I wanted to say that bringing Danzón number 9 to Seattle, to the Northwest, was great. It was great to share that big heritage we have, and we have to be proud of that. And I want to share that because we got a lot of different Hispanic or Latinx communities or associations or organizations coming to the concert. We invited them. We just gave them tickets, and we have a lot of people coming to the concert that haven't been before at the Benaroya Hall. I just wanted to share that because I think that was something cool to share with everyone. And before that, so let's go with the next video. And I picked that one because talking about stereotypes. So stereotypes is something we have to fight against all the time. And when I lived in Europe, the stereotype for somebody coming from the US was so wrong. But I couldn't really tell that because I was coming from Colombia and I couldn't really know how diverse the US is, how different it is from region to region. And the same thing is for everyone. So when I came to conduct this orchestra in Singapore a couple of years ago, the one we are going to be watching, I got stereotypes in my head. Okay, so they will be not so expressive. They will play the notes right, and that's it. And those stereotypes you just carry. And sometimes you have just to fight with yourself to give the benefit of the doubt that those stereotypes might be wrong. And that's something I want to leave for everyone who is watching me. So when I got there, it was a great residency we had there, and we played this next excerpt of Grieg's Holberg Suite for strings, and just check how big the age group is. It's a really wide range of ages. that they are playing by memory, not just to brag about how well they play by memory, but how much you are released from your music stand. They are standing, most of them. And I just want you to take a look at this so you enjoy these lovely friends I have in Singapore. They are called Wolfgang Sinfonietta. So I hope you like it.
Okay, and this is the first movement of Grieg's Holberg Suite.
That's correct. The
Okay,
prelude.
here we go. Enjoy, everybody. Very cool. That's very impressive. And can you hear me? Oh, there you
You
are.
have it's so much joy, huh?
Yeah, and so it is a wide range. And so is this like a summer thing or a festival thing, or is this a group that meets all year long, or?
It's a studio. It's a violin studio called Wolfgang Violin Studio, but they also have viola and cello bass. And yeah, it's a great studio. And again, stereotypes. When I got there for the first time, I was conducting in the Philippines. Asia, the Philippines is fantastic. Really colorful, and of course they have some Spanish involved in the Tagalog. Combined with the Tagalog, it's quite interesting. But I was invited to just jump to Singapore and do this other concert. Those little kids were so in music that yeah, that was the day I said no stereotypes anymore.
Very cool. Well, thank you for sharing that with all of us. And you know, this video is inspiring, especially now that we're not able to get together physically, right, to make music with our, our youth ensembles, and our students are not able to be in the same room with their friends playing music together. But, it's a good reminder of how much, as we were saying earlier, how much joy comes from making music. And I think we all together look forward to things going back to normal, and, getting back, together with everybody and playing. And personally, I very much look forward to, exploring ways to collaborate with you and with the Seattle Youth Symphony Orchestra. And I think we're going to be doing some exciting things together in the near future.
Yes, Raul. And I wanted just to highlight what you said about we have to look forward for this next normal to arrive, and probably it's not going to be the same normal it used to be. Right. Probably we have to change some things. We might be wearing some masks that we were not using in the past. We might have some social distancing that we are not used to have. Some things we're slowly going back to what we call normal, but I have to just remind everyone what Raul is saying. So we're going to get there. So with, of course, with consequences, and we are facing at this point really challenging times, but we're going to get there. So, and also for young people, to remind you, this is new for us as well. So in our lifetime, and at least one generation, past, they never faced these. I mean, right. Only during the Spanish flu, they have to face these, and beforehand in the 19th century, as well in the 18th century. But in this lifetime, we've never had this type of situations, and I know we're going to overcome this really soon.
Yeah, and music will be there for all of us when we get to the other side of this. Juan Felipe, Thank you again. It was so fun talking to you. I know you're very, very busy, so we all appreciate you taking the time to be with us. And best of luck with the rest of your season, and we'll be in touch soon.
Yeah,
and
best luck for you.
My best to your wife, your daughters, and also Frida and Luna.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Take care. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay. I'm so thankful to Juan Felipe for spending time with us. Let me share about our upcoming guests. Tomorrow, I'm going to be speaking with my friend Jennifer Arnold, former violist with the Oregon Symphony, and now director of artistic planning for the Richmond Symphony. That's tomorrow. Then Friday, we have a morning edition of this show, 11 a.m. with Johannes Moser, all the way from Germany. And then next week, I'm very excited. We have on Tuesday Raquel Rocky Rodriguez. I can either say it in Spanish or English. Rocky is a midfielder with the Thorns here in Portland. And I'm looking forward to speaking with her because we as musicians have so much to learn from professional athletes. And she's also been learning to play the piano a little bit and exploring music in her time during quarantine. So we're going to be talking to Rocky Rodriguez, and then Kevin Lefon, MYS conductor, violinist extraordinaire, teacher, entrepreneur. We're going to be speaking with him on Thursday, April 16. And I look forward to revealing more guests tomorrow. So thank you again, everybody. Please take care. Keep practicing and keep finding ways to bring joy into your life and to others too. So thank you. I will leave you with more danzones from Mexico, and I will see you tomorrow at 4 p.m. Thank you.